Hello again, I'm Patrick from Let's Make Technology. This time I wanted to talk a little bit about the topic that is very close to my heart at the moment. And it's all about mistakes that people tend to do while trying to land software engineering job. So for quite some time I'm in the process where we are gathering CVs and we want to find perfect person, perfect candidate to our job offer. Of course, I know finding perfect candidate is extremely difficult, but it's not about that. I wanted to talk about 3 things that are extremely common nowadays when it comes to any kind of mistakes that people tend to do while applying for a job. You might be really surprised by one of them, because I was very surprised. Really, I wasn't even expecting that this kind of thing will happen. So you need to stay with me a little bit more to see what is the most surprising thing for me. And let's start from the first one, which is having a wall of text in your CV. So when it comes to going through CVs in the software that we use to collect all of the applications, it's something that is happening very often. So basically, people are sending us CV with multiple pages, like many of them. And on those pages, there is like a wall of text. And it wouldn't be a problem. No one has to be perfect in terms of writing CVs. But if you write a CV in a way that is unclear, it also indicates that there might be some communication problem, at least with your written way of communication. But when it comes to those wall of texts, it's like very difficult to figure out the meaningful part of the CV. It's very difficult. And another mistake is like, whenever I see those CVs with this very huge wall of text, oftentimes, like in 95% of those CVs, everything in there is generated by any kind of large language model. I know, nowadays everyone uses it, but for me, sometimes it indicates that someone was not paying full attention to our job description, just wanted to generate something and spread it out to as much companies as possible. And of course I'm trying to read through those things to figure out all of the experience, but in many cases everything that is in there doesn't even follow the job description. Second thing that is happening very often is that people try to apply to every single job offer that is out there. They don't even try to figure out if their location fits the needs of the job offer. So basically, when there is hybrid role that requires you to be in the office for a couple of days, I still see like majority of the applications coming from different countries all around the world. And really, I completely understand that currently IT situation is a little bit more difficult. There is not so many job openings out there, so people try to do everything they can. But whenever I go through the software and I go through all of the applications and I see that country doesn't match, for me it's like pretty simple thing. In most of the cases I will just reject this candidate. So if you want to join a company in another country and you are willing to relocate, this is something you should try to put on top of your cover letter if company is asking you to provide a cover letter, because in many cases, if you are willing to relocate and company wants you to be in the office for a couple of days or even full time, it will indicate that you are a little bit better candidate, not even a little bit, because you can be someone who can be considered a fit for the role. But in a situation that, for instance, you don't have permit to work, or you are not willing to relocate and you still apply to those job postings that are all about on-site working, then most possibly you will get like instantly rejected. No one will even go through your CV because it's like additional time people need to spend. And currently there are like very plenty of those applications. Every single person going through CVs has to go through. So basically it's difficult, right? It's better to try to apply to a jobs that you fit in terms locations. And the third very common thing is that basically candidates doesn't have required experience. So again, I really know that currently IT market is pretty difficult. We've got plenty of people available out there and amount of jobs is limited. Many people get rejected, so all of them try to do everything they can to land new place they will be working in. But whenever your experience doesn't match the job description or you think that you're not qualified enough, yeah, you can still try, but don't feel offended whenever hiring manager or HR department will just instantly reject your application because of lack of your experience. And also it's a matter of preparing your CV well, because sometimes you just don't highlight things that are very crucial for the company and you still have experience in those areas. So if you want to land good job offer, be aware to be prepared in terms of highlighting your experience and your strengths. But also something that is very common is that, okay, from time to time we find someone whose CV really fits our needs potentially, but actually the technical interview tells us easily that this person doesn't have enough experience or enough knowledge. So remember to be prepared to all of the stages of the hiring processes, because in most of the cases you will be asked for some basic stuff, fairly basic, just to know your experience and how do you deal with some basics. There will be many questions regarding your experience, things you did, so it's also good to be prepared in those kind of situations. But whenever you doesn't fit in terms of experience or knowledge, there might be a situation that you will get rejected. But this is something that happens all over the world, right? So to sum it up, you have to be always prepared for your job interview. If you won't be prepared, that will be pretty easy kind of thing. During the technical interview, people who are conducting the interview will know that instantly, right? Another thing is related to being sure that you can work in the location that job offer is coming from. Of course, if job offer says that it's fully remote and you want to work remote, most possibly you are a fit. But if you are living in Poland and job offer is coming, for instance, from Finland, from Helsinki, and there is like hard requirement to be twice a week in the office, there is very high chance you won't be a fit, unless you will indicate that you are willing to relocate, right? And of course, the third thing, try to keep your CV clean, try to give all of the necessary information in the CV. It will make life of hiring manager or HR department easier, and also will give you much higher chances to land a job because you will go through the first filter pretty easily. With those kind of tips, if you will manage all of those things, I really believe you will land your dream job. And this was all for today. Thank you very much and see you in the next episode.